Hi, I'm Lori Jones, President and CEO of Avasec Communications and host of StrategyCast. Join me and my guests, innovators, disruptors, and visionaries as we explore bold and brave marketing strategies that help you transform, scale, and grow your brand. Are you ready to get fiercely human? I am so excited to bring you a fantastic episode today. Joining me is Sangeeta Prasad, the Chief Marketing Officer at Slalom. For over 30 years, she has worked with marketing giants like Procter & Gamble, American Express, and JP Morgan Chase. She's here to share her journey from B2C to B2B marketing, her core philosophy on blending personal and professional life, and the innovative, fiercely human branding strategy that's propelling Slalom to new heights. Tune in as we discuss how to leverage AI, drive customer-centered strategies, and stay human first in today's fast evolving market. Let's dive in, and don't forget to check out the most recent issue of the StrategyCast newsletter on StrategyCast.com. Just like this episode, it's full of inspiration and a ton of ideas that will elevate your strategies and marketing know-how.
A competitive edge starts with strategy, and strategy starts with knowing how to develop one. StrategyCast is a leading marketing podcast that serves up strategic insights, trends, and tips to help separate your business from the pack. Tune in weekly as host Lori Jones interviews bold marketing leaders who have priceless wisdom and are willing to share. Each episode explores cutting-edge approaches that have proven instrumental in transforming brands into industry trailblazers.
Welcome to StrategyCast. I am thrilled to have Sangeeta Prasad join the show today. Welcome.
Thank you, Lori. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you today.
Well, I tell you, the pleasure is all mine. I have been so excited to sit down and talk to you. You are one of the most incredibly wise CMOs, I think, worldwide right now. I've been watching you from the outside for a very, very long time and love what you're doing. So we're going to dive into all of that today. And we're really going to focus on what your company does so well. And that is really staying human-centered and people first, which is one of the mantras that I feel so many brands are missing when it comes to great marketing. Before we get there, tell us a little bit about who you are, your journey, and the company you're now with.
Well, first of all, Lori, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. It's always great to talk to you and to be able to talk to an audience where we can share insights and learn from each other. So I'm delighted to have this conversation. Who am I? Well, I am a global citizen. I'm a woman. I'm a mother, a daughter, a wife, a friend, and I'm also a marketing professional and CMO at Slalom. And I say that because as I think of myself and as I think of Slalom, it's all about the humanity that we bring. And I feel like throughout my career, I have tried to keep all aspects of my life integrated, be it the personal or the professional. And so I started over 30 years ago as a marketer. My first job was with Procter & Gamble, so very traditional B2C marketing. And then I moved into financial services with American Express and JP Morgan Chase, but still focused on B2C. After doing that for 20 plus years, I decided I wanted to do something totally different. And I left these big bigs to join Russell Reynolds Associates, which is an executive search firm, as their first CMO. I was there 6 years, and after that, I got this opportunity to come to Slalom as their first CMO. So that's been my B2B experience, which is actually very different than the big B2C experience. But it's what I love about marketing is not only does it have so many textures and elements, but it keeps evolving and changing, and we have to evolve and change with that. My core is about curiosity and learning, and no matter where I am, that's what I aspire to do, and that's who I aspire to be.
Well, I love that you bring up curiosity. I think at the core, curiosity is one of the fundamental aspects of any great marketer, because we're always asking what if, why, how how can we, and we're really, really getting, down to the core of what great marketing is all about, which is affecting positive change within a buyer mindset. And
100%.
that's one of the things that Slalom does so well from a consultancy standpoint is this true we refer to it as people first, human-centered. It's making sure that everything that we do day in and day out revolves around the people that ultimately pay our bills, which are our customers.
That is why at Slalom, we call ourselves fiercely human. We say our essence is fiercely human. And that the core of that idea is that at the center of everything, at the center of business, are humans.
Yeah.
That's true yesterday. That's true today. That will be true tomorrow, notwithstanding technology. And when we say fiercely human, it means to us that we bring all of our passion across both our head and our heart into the work we do. And with the head is our technical expertise, and we're really good at that. With our heart is our authenticity and our empathy that we bring to everything we do. So everyone tells us the working with Slalom feels different. And I believe it's because of our fiercely human approach.
I love that. And when we talk positioning with brands, especially within the consultancy world and some of the gorillas that are out there, and let's face facts, Slalom is a young company.
Yes.
And this very, very unique position that you have carved out in the marketplace to truly differentiate you from, seemingly the Goliaths of industry has paid incredible dividends. And it also intrigued many investors very early on. You were able to secure a $2 billion round. Is that correct?
We've grown organically
Okay.
to $2 billion. So our founder started our company about 20 years ago, and we've never merged with anyone. We haven't acquired anyone. We haven't used external investment. It's very much an employee-owned, founder-led company, and we've grown organically to over $2 billion.
And that's why I should have my glasses on right now, by the way.
Yeah.
As I was saying, a $2 billion round, I thought, has that ever happened? But nonetheless, even better, because truly the core positioning of the brand and the ethos of the importance of human-centered is what really is attracting. And that, let's face facts, is some very, very fast growth. When you were taking on the role as CMO and really developing this point of position that you knew needed to not only differentiate, but create incredible distinction, what was that aha moment that you had when you landed on Fiercely Human? And why don't you talk a little bit more about the strategy behind it?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Lori, because when I first joined, this was one of the first things I did at Slalom. I joined 4 years ago, and I really wanted to capture the essence of who we are in words that felt and sounded different, because we are different. And I talked to a whole bunch of customers. I talked to our partners. I talked to our team members and tried to bring it down to the essence of what we stand for. And no matter who I talked to, they talked about people, that the relationships, the difference that Slalom is, the culture of people being people. There's your professional self, and then there's your personal self. And we say there are no different selves. We are one self, and we bring it to work and we bring it to home. And this was actually a 2 a.m. aha moment, the two words coming together. Yeah. I had to quickly write it down, but we were trying to figure out what words should we use that stand out. And I landed on fiercely human because they're not often used together. There's this fierce and human are juxtapositions, really. And I like that because this fierce brings with it this passion, this sense of action, the sense of real heart, and humanity brings that tenderness and empathy. And we put both of those together with fiercely human. And now when I talk to customers, partners, employees, everyone loves it because all they need to say is those two words and it can start a conversation.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm like just feeling your energy surrounding it. And I love it. It like brings us all back as marketers to the big pitches that we have, right? And always pitching what we know the client needs, whether it's internal or external, even if it might take a little bit of time for it to settle into the mindsets of the audience that we're presenting to. And I feel like when we've got that, oh, okay, this is right. We know it's right. We must go forward with it. We're only going to go with one idea because we know this is right. It takes a lot of guts. Taking yourself back to, that board table when you knew you needed to present this concept, what was going through your mind?
That's such an insightful question, Lori, because you're exactly right. It really takes sort of the confidence of your convictions to go in to your CEO and president and leadership team who have been there for a whole lot longer than you have and come in to say, I really feel strongly that this is the way to go. And credit to them first is that they were open to it. They were willing to experiment with it, to listen to it, to start absorbing it. And as is always the case, some of them loved it. Some of them said, it's going to take some getting used to. And some hated it. But again, kudos to my CEO and president. They said, you should move with it. You should move forward with it. Even we know it's right. It makes us uncomfortable, but that's what marketing is supposed to do. So you can go with it. And so, it was just a great privilege for me to be able to take this concept and run with it. In fact, just a few months ago, my CEO said to me, I really didn't like Fiercely Human until very recently, and now I'm all in.
Well, that's because there's strong marketing backing it up. I mean, that's what it takes. There are a lot of campaigns that I think launch and, you look up into the corner of the room or you shrug your shoulders, whatever it might be, and think to yourself, I don't know about it. In those situations, me as a marketer, I love to reverse engineer the strategy. And then I typically am like, that's really smart. It's spot on. But a lot of times it does take getting used to. But getting used to also, I think the icing on the cake there is when it's really resonating with the audience. And one thing I love about your brand approach is that you're walking the walk and talking the talk. You've proven there's a lot of marketing out there. Like this is so overused, but your success is our satisfaction. And, one could say that is very people first. It's very overused, and it's actually internalized. And there's a lot of reasons why that is bad. And I don't know how many times I've seen it on the side of a truck driving down, a highway. It's unbelievable. The uniqueness of the two words, but then proving it is what really makes it more human-centered because it's now believable, it's experiential, and it's not just a few words on the side of a truck.
Exactly. And if you're going to use something like Fiercely Human that really stands out, you have to be all in, 100% in, and you have to be able to hire for it, train for it. You have to be a reward for it. You have to be able to measure it. And I put those words together, not because I was creating a new culture, because I was just reflecting our culture. And we have measured customer love for years, and we have 10 dimensions in how we measure. We survey our customers, we get the results. I don't know any other company that does that. And we take those results very seriously. We work with these big technology partners. We measure partner love. And so all of this is because we believe people are at the center of everything we do. We are a technology, business, and human consulting company. And so we bring those three things together, and you have to measure the humanity part of it.
Do you think that from a solution standpoint, that brands are coming to Slalom because they feel you understand the customer ethos or how those brands can become more customer-centric through the consultancy that you provide?
I think people are coming to us because we understand them really well. We go deep into what they need, and we then understand their goals and their customers' needs and deliver to that.
Yeah.
So we are so we say we meet the customer at where they are, and then we try to solve the challenges that they're facing from where they are. And one of the things that we take pride in is we don't come with cookie cutter solutions. We don't come with the solution before we know the problem. We understand the problem and then create a solution, co-create a solution really with the customer, and then co-implement the solution with the customer. And we teach the customer's team along the way how to what we did and how we developed it, so that when we leave, they are smarter and they can do what we just did. So we really are all about almost becoming invisible in delivering the customer's needs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Quite often, when we're working with some of the earlier stage, and it can be a middle stage company as well, what we see is that the product quality is, it's great, but the brand piece of it, pales in comparison, and they just don't have, a communications or a marketing ethos within the organization to recognize that that lag is hurting the brand. A second ago, you mentioned that there's so many different elements that are needed to make sure that the internal ethos is connecting with the external customer, from HR training, from HR, or from operations, customer insights, the surveys, all these different things. And there's a lot operationally to consider there. Where do you feel most brands are getting it wrong? They're not connecting the dots all the way down, and there ends up being a line in the sand, to what truly should be resonating with the customer.
I think it's a little bit different in B2B and B2C. So I'll talk to B2B right now because that's where I am. I've spent the last few years. And in B2B, I feel like companies sometimes forget that there are real customers at the end of the line. So we're solving for our customers' problem, but they are solving their customers' problem. And where the human aspect comes in is, what can we do to better the lives of the customer's customer? That should always be the focus. And what we're doing will lead to that, but how do we keep that front and center so that we are delivering what the customer needs? And often what we see is consulting companies look at projects. Like, this is a project, we have to get CRM implemented. But why? What is it going to do? What is the end result? Is this something better than CRM that we should be doing? How should we look at it more holistically? So looking at projects can lead to a very different outcome than looking at the needs of a customer's customer.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's really not walking into the room with any preconceived notion about what is or what should be. And I think in general, a lot of marketers make that mistake. They want to, stamp their DNA on something and perhaps even make change for change's sake, not really realizing what's already in place is working very, very well. What advice do you have to marketers regarding knowing the difference of when to or how to really dive in, understand, research, slow the process down a little bit, and then make a decision versus a knee-jerk reaction of, here, I want my DNA on this?
I say this to my team all the time: slow down to speed up.
Right. Yeah.
Really take a step back and understand why, the why of everything, that curiosity, bring that to the fore and ask the questions that even make other people uncomfortable, but ask them so that you can come to this conclusion or the solution that'll be most impactful. And as marketers, sometimes we just want to do it, put it out, get the campaign done. But really, sometimes we don't even need a campaign. Maybe it's something totally different. And so that idea of slowing down to speed up is, I think, a crucial one in marketing. The other aspect of it is, again, curiosity, but learn about other things outside of your purview, so that when you ask the questions, it's not just pure marketing, because your business stakeholders are not looking at it as a pure marketing. So look at it as a business problem or a challenge, and how do we solve that together?
I think the better marketers are business people.
Yes.
understand, they can have the conversation with the CTO, the CEO, an engineer, IT consultant on, a new ERP system. They can have those conversations, and it creates a certain amount of wisdom regarding go-to-market strategies that I think a lot of people just have smoke and mirrors, from an approach standpoint regarding.
100%.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, we're looking at Slalom is how do we bring closer all of those elements that you talked about so that our go-to-market strategies are more impactful?
Yeah.
Because it is hard for me to talk the tech talk with a CIO because they have such deeper knowledge in that. But on the other hand, I have deeper knowledge in marketing. So together we can deepen each other's knowledge and create something better.
Well, we both need to know just enough about the other person's, day-to-day activity to be knowledgeable, to work together and create that great program.
100%. And our curiosity will allow us to do that,
Yeah.
right? So learn.
Yeah. So this would not be a StrategyCast show without talking about AI. It's such a big topic right now. And let's talk about how AI is impacting the human psyche to begin with, and what we as marketers really need to understand to make sure we're getting the job done.
Yeah, first of all, I think AI is so early in its life cycle right now. No one really knows what it's going to eventually do. And so first, we should all keep an open mind. I think that's the first thing, and learn and absorb. I think I've heard people talk about AI like it has arrived and things, this is it. And I don't believe that this is it. I think this is the very early evolution of whatever it is going to look like. And at Slalom, we talk about it in 3 horizons. There's the productivity, the differentiation, and the disruption, if you look at it from a marketing lens. And I think marketing and sales are at the forefront of using AI. So if we look at how most people are using it today, it's for productivity, efficiency. How do I do things better, faster, cheaper?
Right.
And then there's that differentiation. How do I use AI to differentiate what I'm saying and how I'm doing it so I can get a leg up from my competition? And finally, is disruption. How will AI and I together, how will we disrupt the industry? What will we create that's totally different than what exists today? And I don't think we're at that disruption stage at all. We're primarily productivity, maybe a little differentiation. And so I think marketing has so much more we can do with it, even though data says that 70+% of marketers are using AI today, and only 30+% of companies are allowing their marketers to use AI. And so there's a lot of disparity there.
I think so too. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat on the real value. This is going to come across perhaps a little strong, but I think those uneducated views toward marketing very early on said, this can replace 2 of our copywriters. Back to curiosity, which was our company theme last year, by the way. I love that. And so we were in a meeting trying with the team. We've got a lot of remote team members. So we're all on Zoom. Some of us are in our conference room, and we're really diving into understanding customer insights better for a particular client who needs more knowledge about their customer. And we're trying to really instill, that hunger to know more. And we start going through reviews. And our AI specialist is kind of, working. I can tell he's like, his mind is just like, oh my gosh, just like, whoa, in a really positive way. We get done with the meeting. 2 hours later, he gets a hold of one of my VPs and he said, can you hop on a phone real quick? And we said, of course. And he said, well, I tell you, my mind was spinning in that meeting. And I found a way to build a custom chat. And I was able to pull in 15,000 reviews into this custom chat. And you can go in and ask it a question. What question do you want to ask? I said, okay, how can it monitor, the happiness of a client versus, anger And it gave us an answer. And just all these. So then we started getting very, very more specific about, all the data and stuff like that. And what we learned was that it was bringing forward issues that had already been solved. So now we're building in timeframes to see if there's same issues discussed today as it was 10 years ago. That is how you're hungry. That is what curiosity does. That's one of the best use cases of AI that I can see, and people are missing the boat regarding the data that they have at their fingertips and what they can ultimately do with it to get smarter.
You're so right. Because we talk about sort of this AI as though it's living in this outer space by itself, but everything AI is based on the data from which it gathers all the information. If you don't have good data, AI can do nothing.
Exactly.
And very few companies have clean, strong data that can be used without error or without hallucinations by AI. And so cleaning the data is the number one challenge we all face right now. And with good data, we can have algorithms, we also have Slalom chat, which is our own Gen AI chat. But what comes out of that is based on what data we have. I couldn't agree with you more.
And we can equivocate with that data. Is this a problem?
Right.
Or isn't it? Like, if we're talking about customer insights and customer service and customer feedback and reviews, are we over exaggerating about what one person said? Let's go see. Do we need to know more? Is it mentioned every other review, which we'd probably know and would be easy visually, but most of these are not. And that's where I think that's how we become more human-centric, is by understanding the feedback that we get. And surveys are, these incredible surveys, the customer love, the partner love surveys that you talked about is one way of making that happen.
100%. And also, I think this is showing the importance of the human touch in everything that's AI driven, right? You can't just create something from AI and put it out there. You need to be able to put your own fingerprints in there. And that authenticity and empathy can't come from AI. It has to come from a human. And of course, the lens of, is this correct? Is this accurately depicting what we are trying to say?
Yeah, because humans are wise.
That's right.
Wisdom is not that gut reaction. 30 years of experience you have. All the experiences that you've had in the incredible work that you've done has brought a wisdom to the table that builds confidence that machines can't do.
Thank you. And I certainly hope so. I really feel like finally I can see that the culmination of those 30 years is paying off when I'm talking to my team members and working with them and helping guide them, and they're learning from it. So I feel really grateful for that opportunity. And sometimes what comes out of AI sounds very wise, but it doesn't have that data behind it, that experience behind it to create the true wisdom that you talk about.
Yeah, I could not agree more. As I was studying for this cast, I was reading through some incredible brand stories that you have, brands that you've worked with. One of my favorites being the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
My gosh, I'm a Chicago Cubs girl through and through. And McDonald's, United, incredible case studies. And feel free to talk through any one of those, but what kind of questions are you getting from those very large brands about the use of AI in consulting, in data approaches, so on and so forth?
That's a really good question, Lori, because typically brands are not coming to us saying, let's use AI for something. They're coming to us and saying, this is a challenge we have. Chicago Cubs, how do we attract the next generation of fans? What can we do to really get them engaged? How can you help us? And by the way, can you use AI to do that? And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And Chicago Cubs is a great example where a lot of the work they did to attract new fans was really understanding the customer base and understanding what the wants and the needs are of the younger generation. And then in the execution, we use some elements of AI, but that was not, I would say, the crux of the problem we solved. It was, how do you reach those people who you want to become your future fans?
Right.
Cosmix at McDonald's, they're such a big brand, and they wanted to do something new and different for the next generation. How do they create a beverage option, a beverage choice for the next generation? And that was digital first. So we created the framework for that digital experience. And we use whatever tools that are most impactful to get that digital experience. And I think that's what we did with the McDonald's situation too. But again, in all of these, you'll see the common theme is the customer's customer, and how can we create that positive impact on their experience. Same with United. How can people not wait for customer service for as long as they do? How can United improve their customer service? So all of this is around humans and people, and we use technology to improve human experience, not the other way around.
I think it's so great. And I in our conversation that we had right before that, we've deduced that there's, the human element, which is wisdom, and training AI tools to be more human-centric, I think, is something that's very, very important. And we literally have prompt parties in the conference room here, where we will put a problem statement up on the board, and then we'll each write our own way of prompting our custom chat system to give us an answer. And then we go around the room and take a look at all the answers. And it truly does take training of the AI solution to get it to the point that you need to solve these challenges.
Yeah, that is such a cool thing to do, by the way. I'm going to do that too.
Yeah. Even better with margarita, by the way.
You're exactly right, though. It's an art. Asking the question of AI is in itself an art. And the way you ask the question can really change the answer you get. So that is a really cool way to do it, to sit around a table and see how a few words can make a big difference in the outcome that you receive.
Yeah, we really enjoy it. As we sign off today, I've got one final question for you. And what do you feel is the true sweet spot between AI and tech becoming or being fiercely human for an organization?
I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record here, but the human connection and relationship and humanity will always remain at the center of anything we do with AI. And I think we can use AI for the technical expertise and efficiency and productivity and differentiation and disruption, and we can use it for all of that. But everything we do has to be centered in that human relationship connection building that we have to do. So I don't see any daylight between us doing what we're doing today without AI and us doing what we're doing tomorrow with AI. It's just a different tool, and we will all learn it and we will get really good at it. But what makes us human will always make us human and will always be important.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that. It's no different than this thing called the World Wide Web when it started, 15 decades ago, and then mail, and then digital advertising. Oh, and let's even go back further, the thing called the TV and the radio. I mean, it's all technology is changing marketers, maybe more than anything else, certainly consumer usage, but the way marketers market, I think is changing at such a fierce clip that staying ahead of it is really what we need to do. And I love the fact that the mindset is AI is a tool. It's not to replace anything that anyone is doing from a human standpoint.
Exactly. And circling back to where we started, for marketers in particular, staying on top of the changes of technology is super important. You don't want to become irrelevant because the change will continue and you need to be with it. At the same time, the curiosity within you should allow you to do that, and you will never be irrelevant as a human. all of the tools and techniques will help you become even more impactful as a marketer.
Well, I think that's the best close on any show I've ever had, so thank you for that. Sangeeta, what is the best way for our listeners and viewers to get in contact with you?
We have a great website, slalom.com, and you can certainly send me an email through that. You can also go on LinkedIn. I'm there. Feel free to reach out to me there too. I would love to hear what everyone thinks. I would love to stay in touch, and I would love to learn from all of the listeners and viewers and share our learnings as we go along.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that generosity. And if you'd like to get a hold of me, please email me, Lori, L-O-R-I, at StrategyCast.com. And don't forget to sign up for the StrategyCast newsletter there as well. Sangeeta, thank you so much for your appearance on StrategyCast.
Lori, it was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the time.
That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us on today's show. We hope your strategic brains are spinning with new ideas and bold inspiration that will elevate your strategies and marketing know-how.